And actually, this recipe is really a bread turnover because it has it looks like a little punch. So it's easy to make, and I want to show you how to do the dough. This dough is a little different than the one that we used for the Sicilian bread where we had to let the dough rise. In this particular instance, we don't have to let the dough rise at all because we're going to be using a pizza crust yeast for this, and it's formulated so that you do not have to let the dough rise. So we want a package of that, which is about 2¼ teaspoons of the pizza crust yeast. And then we need some water, we need salt, a little olive oil, and unbleached all-purpose flour. We're just going to put this all in together. So I'm going to add most of this flour, not all of it. I have about 4 cups here. I'm going to put most of it in because I really don't know how much water this will take. So let's see. So there's the flour. Here's our salt. Here is the yeast. Goes in dry. Here is a little olive oil, just for flavor. And now we're going to let that go. I'm going to add some water. What I want to achieve here again is another ball of dough that just goes around that blade. Let me just stop this now and see. You lift up the machine, and that feels good to me. So I'm going to take that right out and put it here on my board. And just give it a nice, quick knead until you have a nice soft ball of dough. This particular recipe will make about 12, depending on how you cut them. So once you have it into a nice ball of dough like that, you can cut this up into 12 pieces, 12, 14 pieces. If you want to make them even smaller, you can cut them smaller. We're going to use some really interesting fillings for this today. Some sun-dried tomatoes, some prosciutto. All right, let me show you what goes in these for a filling. So here they are, our little rounds. And you can fill them with a variety of things, but what I like to fill them with are some sun-dried tomatoes. And here they are. I just pulverized them up in a food processor, but you can buy them in a store. They look like this, and they're in oil. Or you could make your own by going to the CiaoItalia.com website. So we're going to take our little rounds. Let me show you how these go now. And we're going to spread some of the tomato paste. This is very concentrated. These are sun-dried tomatoes. So you don't want to put a super lot on here. Put a nice little thin layer. And then after that, I like to add some prosciutto. This is prosciutto di San Daniele, which comes from Friuli, Venezia Giulia region up in the northeast part of Italy. A beautiful raw cured ham prosciutto. So we put a little bit of that on. And then how about some mozzarella cheese? So a little mozzarella goes on top, because that's a good melting cheese. We want a little sale, a little pepper, and how about a nice basil leaf? So you put that right in the center. And then this is the panza part. You fold this over, and you want to seal those edges. You may want a little water to do this. Put a little water at the edge there to seal them. Don't put too much water because when you put it in the oil, it could really squirt up and burn you. So you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of water there. Then you want to pinch those edges closed. Put your fork in a little bit of flour if you have to keep it from sticking. Just like that. And then you want to give that a little slit right there in the top. Then it's ready for the oil. And here you want to use either a canola oil or sunflower oil. You want to make sure that oil is at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And before I put that in there, I'm just going to make sure by sticking a little piece of dough in there and seeing if that pops up. All right, I think we're ready. So we take our turnover carefully, put it in the oil. Ooh, nice and brown. So you make them like that, and then what you do is you have a tray ready. here's some that I did a little earlier with some panzerotti. You have some paper towel down. And when they're nice and brown, well, that's when you take them out very carefully. Put that one right there. And that's how you make the panzerotti.